My background varied from working at Microsoft and then at Boeing. At Boeing, I was on the head webmaster team.
There's a lot of people that are really upset with these solar bros that are out there selling solar systems to people that are 90 years old and losing their marbles and signing them into like long-term contracts.
Everything on this platform, so no matter who comes here, if they're buying from you or if they're clicking on an ad, you're always making money. So there's three kinds of people that are on the internet. There's the looky-loo, there's the researcher, and then there's the buyer.
Hello and welcome to Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast.
Today, our guest is JP DZahr. Welcome, JP.
Hi, Sean. Thanks for inviting me on the show. Really appreciate it. This is great.
Yeah, so you're in the solar industry, and which way are you in the solar industry? I know you do a lot of different things.
Yeah, I've been in the marketing industry most of my life as a developer and marketing. My background varied from working at Microsoft and then at Boeing. At Boeing, I was on the head webmaster team, and there was 10 of us, and we pretty much ran the whole...
Oh, can you get me a 787? I like the carbon fiber feel.
Oh.
Yeah, got to take it and all my friends to the solar shows, everybody. I'm going to be going to all of the big airports and just picking you all up before the next solar show. Thanks to JP here. He's going to be helping us out.
Right.
So we got RE Plus in Vegas, and it's just going to be like, I'm going to hit 20 airports. Let's see, we'll go to like Newark, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Houston, lots of different airports will be picking you up. Yeah. All right. That being said, so what is it you're doing as far as, well, you said marketing for Boeing and marketing for Microsoft. Those are some kind of big companies. What did you do for them? Because I was just kind of kidding about the airplane. Maybe I was kidding, maybe not. Did you really sell airplanes or?
So we're talking going back 25, 30 years now. And so at Microsoft, I was teaching digital prepress at that time to a lot of designers.
What is prepress?
Prepress is actually going to print. So going from designing something digitally, whether it was in Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator at the time. You know, today there's no Adobe Illustrator. I should say all this at that time. At Boeing, I was on the head webmaster team. And there I was actually doing coding, and I was involved in the McDonnell Douglas merger. And there was a lot of data, being brought over from one company, Boeing. But actually my marketing really started off when I got hired from Boeing into the banking industry. And so I got a job down in San Diego, and that was in the year 2000. And there were like 90 developers on staff, and I was hired early on to be one of the managers there. And there's 30 Russian developers, 30 Chinese, and 30 Indian. I was in charge of the user interface. I had a team of about 25 people that developed the user interface, which is the look and the feel of a banking portal. We designed portals for Bank of America, pretty much about 200 different banks and about 50 other industry leaders out there that could possibly use a portal. So it's a platform. After that, I got to be the marketing director at LawInfo, which is lawinfo.com. I did lead generation there, and that was building, a better widget for that platform. And with the experience I had in the banking industry, I ended up doing marketing for the law industry, and I generated about $10 million worth of revenue, $1 million for the company and over $10 million for attorneys generating leads for the law industry.
I don't know how much a 787 is, but we're getting closer.
Yes. It's been very exciting. After the law industry, I started developing a lot of niche market platforms on my own. And that was in the health industry and also in government benefits industry. And I was generating quite a lot of traffic because these platforms I would build had over 1 million pages worth of content. With that kind of content, I was getting anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 visitors a day and generating, and I'm talking about like 15 years ago. Are you familiar with pay-per-click?
Sort of. Yeah. Like it costs each time somebody clicks on your ad. That's
Yeah.
how the revenue happens.
So you can actually be a publisher. And if you're a publisher, you can go to Google and you own a platform, a large platform that's generating a lot of traffic. Then Google or Yahoo and Bing, they'll let you publish their ads. And they'll give you a percentage of the revenue from the clicks that Google earns. You'll get like 68% of that, and Google will take the rest.
Is that sort of like when I'm reading a news app and there's some ad there? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of dialed in sometimes to like what I was just surfing on Google on the browser.
Yeah. It's supposed to. So if you're on a page that is about solar, you'd see ads about solar.
Okay, so that's what side of the industry on. So, okay, all right. So you're doing like pay for click for solar. Is it kind of
No, I'm doing marketing.
marketing?
Yeah, for the solar industry. And so basically, I do geotargeting. So let's say you have a solar company and you're in the Phoenix area and you need a 25-mile or 50-mile radius out of Phoenix that you want to cover all your marketing, then I can help target that marketing. It doesn't necessarily have to be on your website. In fact, it's a lot better if it's on an independent platform that's more of an information platform. And that information platform is all information about the solar industry, but it has your ads on there because you own it. So when people visit the solar platform, because you've got 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, or 500,000 pages worth of information about the solar industry, because you're delivering that information, you're going to get traffic. People are searching for stuff. And so they would come to that solar hub, that solar platform. This gives you an opportunity to pitch anyone that's visiting that, and also present ads. And so by presenting the ads, you can earn revenue from Google. And those dollars, you can turn that into advertising dollars. So you can actually benefit from Google paying you to advertise. So that's the key here. If you can get someone else to pay for your advertising, you've got more power. Absolutely.
So run that by me again. Like, how do I get Google to pay for my advertising? Isn't it the other way around? I'm a little bit puzzled.
Yeah. Well,
Doesn't Google want my money and that's why they're worth like $1 trillion or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Google is selling ads full time, but they have a division called AdSense, and it's not CENT, it's SENSE. So AdSense.
I've seen that somewhere. Yeah.
And that AdSense, when it first came out, you were earning pennies. You would earn a couple of pennies, but over time, over the past 25 years, I can tell you, like 15 years ago, the average ad out there in the law industry, for example, was $3 to $8 a click. Today, those ads are $100 to $800 a click. $800 a click. So if you're a publisher,
$800 for one click?
yeah,
So if I went and clicked on their ad, they have to pay $800?
that's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
everybody, I don't like attorneys. So go out there and click on a bunch of attorney ads. Let's take those guys out.
There you go. Yeah. So these high paying ads, most of them are like in the medical industry for the lawyers, whether it's drugs, pharmaceutical, or mesothelioma, asbestos,
All
and
those good things. Yeah.
all those things. Those are the most expensive ads out there.
It can't be that just some random person accidentally clicks on something and somebody pays $800.
Absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, attorneys have been known to go out, they buy this software and they want to be first in the pay-per-click arena. And let's say they're a divorce attorney in La Jolla, California, and they're both attorneys. I want to be the first advertiser there. So the software will actually push them up at, $10 a click. And so they soon find out that they're competing with a machine, and the machine on both ends are costing them a bundle in advertising fees because they constantly are pushing that envelope of trying to be first. Now, that's one of the issues with the pay-per-click arena is you're actually bidding on those ads. So it's like an auction. So Google has an auction platform and you have to bid that I'm going to pay, $50 a click. And then the other attorney says, I'll pay $60 just to be first.
Wow.
All right. And
Okay.
over time, those prices have reached $800 a click.
I could imagine some of these attorneys just in Laguna Beach or some rich place like that are spending $100,000 a day.
They'll say on a monthly basis, I'll spend $100,000 a month.
So if you don't like someone, click on their ad. Is that like a good idea?
Well, Google says they can protect you because they track the IP addresses. And so what that means, if your IP address is constantly clicking on somebody's ad, they will not charge that to the client, the Google's client.
What about like web crawlers and bots and all that stuff? Wouldn't that be a click when they're doing stuff like that? Like Russians?
Actually, I had a friend of mine that was in the dish satellite industry, and he was spending $30,000 a month in pay-per-click. And one of his competitors had a bot that clicked on every one of his ads, and his $30,000 taken in a 3-day period, which normally took a whole month to pay off. And he actually had to get out of that business because he no longer advertised because he was being attacked, and Google couldn't protect him. They claim they can protect them now that nobody can run a bot and nobody can click on your ads like that to put you out of business. But it did happen, and that was probably, 12, 13, 14 years ago when that happened. But today, Google has these fail-safe measurements where nobody can really put you out of business. They might be able to click on your ad one time,
Okay.
not multiple times.
Okay, so let's say how this works for solar. How does this work for solar? Like you're doing marketing for solar companies.
Sure. So I've researched over 20,000 or 22,000 keyword phrases in the solar industry that people use to search to find an installer.
And you were going to share all those words for free?
I was going to share that you can see them. It's interesting. There's 3 columns in the database. And, one column is the keywords. One column is the number of searches per month that Google tracks. And the other column is what the cost per click is, pay-per-click, for that particular keyword phrase. And so, once you see that, you get a better idea of the marketplace. You understand the marketplace. You say, oh, this is the most expensive keyword phrases, or this has the most traffic, the most search keyword phrases. So a lot of solar companies actually, they have pay-per-click campaigns. That's how they get their revenue. That's how they get their traffic. That's how they get their leads. And they're paying Google to have their ads run locally, in their region, wherever they're at. Or if they're, in 3 states, they may advertise in 3 states. Or if they're national, they may advertise nationally.
Who makes up the ads? Like, do you do it? Does somebody that you're working for do it? Does it say free solar?
Okay, sure. All right, let me get over here. Can you see the database?
Yeah, and so you've got at the top it says batteries 13,600,000.
Okay.
Solar
yes.
panels 2,740,000. And then it says estimated EPC, I guess that's pay-per-click cost. Batteries was $1.30. Solar panel was $378. So yes, I can see all that.
And at the very bottom here, there's a running total of the 22,000 at the top left corner in very small letters. It says 22,554. That's the size of the database. That's how many keyword phrases are in this database. And at the bottom of the monthly searches by Google, there's 69 million searches per month for 22,000 plus keyword phrases.
I see you even have a misspelling one. Photovoltaic with an S.
Yes, people misspell keyword phrases, and it turns out that that's how they spell it. So,
And those people are probably, since they're not too smart, they're probably easier to sell to.
well,
You can just make up stuff.
it doesn't necessarily mean that. But now here on the far right column where the pay-per-click is, I'm going to sort this by the most expensive. So in the law industry, I said it was over $800 a click. Well, here's one keyword phrase that's $321.
Oh, I'll take a bunch of those. Solar panel installation information.
Yes. But there's only 10 searches per month for that particular keyword phrase.
And they all spelled it right.
Yeah. And here's like home solar panels installers near me.
Sometimes when I'm doing a Google search, it automatically starts filling it out. Would it be using this stuff?
It does. If you do a Google search, there's a drop-down window and it'll show you like 5 to 6 different possible searches. And a lot of people just end up clicking on it so they don't type everything out. They just see, oh, here's the search I want to do. If you did it locally in your area, it may say, you may look up solar panel installer in, and then all of a sudden it's going to name your city.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd click on that city, and then that's what you'd be seeing. So right here, here's a solar panel installation San Francisco.
70 of those.
70 per month, and it's $109 a click.
Wow.
Now, a click does not mean you got the lead. A click only means that they came to your website.
Okay, so they come to the website, they're paying $109
That's right.
in San Francisco, where they have lots of money.
It depends on who you're talking to.
If you can tell that they're using a computer in New York, and then they do the one for San Francisco, is it still $109?
Well, they'd have to type in San Francisco, but
Yeah.
locally in New York, the Google would show, you type in solar panel installation and all of a sudden it says New York or New Jersey or Manhattan underneath. And you go, oh, I want this one. I'm in Manhattan or I'm in New Jersey.
So, like, I travel a lot, and sometimes it's frustrating because things that I'm searching for are different. Like, I need information on the United States, and I was in Germany recently at a big solar conference. Sometimes I try using a VPN, and then it seems like even with the VPN, Google knows that I'm doing that, I think.
Here's a couple of keywords that Energy Consulting San Francisco, let's say I do one for Los Angeles. All right, here we go. So we got 12 results out of 22,000, and the prices range from the high at $46 down to, no cost. And the cost of installing solar panels in Los Angeles, solar energy in Los Angeles, $720 per month, and the cost is $27.83 a click. About there.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that is the top dollar. If there's 5 advertisers on the page, 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom, let's say 6. As you go down, they're paying less and less.
Okay.
It's not everyone on the first page or the home page pays the $27.83. The next, if you're bidding, you might only be bidding $25 and you may have a cap and say, I don't want to spend over $25 a click. So your ad may be in position 5 or position 6 because you said, no, I don't want to pay more than 25.
All right. This is all very interesting. And so this is kind of what you're dealing with, and you're helping people deal with this, get to the top and all that kind of stuff. You're not actually making the advertisements.
Yeah, I don't run any ad campaigns for the clients, but here on my website, this is called geotargeting. What geotargeting is, like here in Scottsdale, let's say your business is in Scottsdale.
I was there yesterday. Yep.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So you felt the heat a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, we were under 110, let's say that.
Yeah.
Could have been worse.
Yeah, today or yesterday was 106 in the shade here.
We interrupt you for a very important announcement. Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast has been brought to you by Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. That's right, Sean White is sponsoring his own podcast, and he wants to remind you to go check out some of his classes. You can go to SolarSEAN, that's solar, SEAN.com, and then click on the links to check out his classes. You can check out his heat spring classes, and you can also hire him to teach classes for you, like at your company, something like that. Now back to the show.
You live in Scottsdale.
I actually live out in Gilbert, so I'm out on the lower part here, Gilbert, Arizona.
Yeah, I was at the American Clean Power Conference yesterday. Trevor Noah showed up.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Were there a lot of people there?
My daughter lives in Scottsdale, and I stayed with her. Yep.
Fantastic. So let's say you had 25 cities or 30 cities or 50 cities that you wanted to target. I would take those top keyword phrases, and let's say you took the top 50 keyword phrases and then combined it with the cities. You would create a new set of keyword phrases that Google already has in their database. And let's say it was find a solar installer in Scottsdale or in Gilbert or near Gilbert or near Scottsdale or close to. So these are some of the keyword phrases. That's called a combination. So you're creating these combinations of keyword phrases based on the highest keyword phrases being searched. And that would drive people that are looking for those keyword phrases. You know, when I was in high school, I actually took algebra and then trig and then
Me too.
yeah,
Calculus?
calculus. Yeah. And in calculus, there was a section called permutations and combinations. Do you remember those words, permutations and
I
combinations?
remember the word, and I'm sure I could do it no problem. It's
Yeah.
only been decades.
Yeah, so that was actually one of my favorite classes, learning about permutations and combinations. It's sort of like a statistical thing. It works great with databases and it works with Excel spreadsheets. And so what you're doing is that's what we're doing here in marketing is we're doing a permutation combination of cities and products or cities and services. And we're doing combinations based on these keywords that are part of the search, which is in, near, nearby, close, close to, closest. And so once you start doing that formula, and then you take the city. So let's say, you're just typing in solar panel installer Scottsdale. That's one version. Then there's solar panel Scottsdale AZ for the state. And the third version is obviously Scottsdale, Arizona spelled out. So now you've got those three combinations, and you got another 11 combinations for some of these ins and close to and nearbys. And then you take the top keyword phrases, top 25 keyword phrases in your industry, so the solar industry, and you combine those, and all of a sudden you've got 100,000 keyword phrases.
Wow.
Now, if you went to Google and you wanted to advertise those, you couldn't afford it. It's just way too expensive. A lot of these solar companies, they have a budget and they go, yeah, we'll target 25 keyword phrases or 50. And that's the max they can do because the budgets are, the pricing is so high. So what I do is I build platforms that does everything organically. And if you can do it organically, you got free leads.
So tell me what that means.
All right, so organically, and I'm going to scroll down here, I actually develop these platforms. And so this is a sample of what a platform may look like. And the keyword phrase is best solar panel companies in USA at the very top there. And it has to have a design element to it, and that would be your products, your services, or your people.
Okay,
And-
so we just see some pictures of solar modules and then some, looks like little links with ads down there.
Yes. And so your products are pitched at the very top of the page. And then underneath that are advertisements that Google presents based on that keyword phrase. So based on that keyword phrase, Google would then populate, as long as you're a publisher of those Google ads, and then you can generate. So let's say I'm a consumer and I'm looking for a solar installer. The first thing I see is, let's say it's Arizona Solar. That's the name of the company. Arizona Solar, their ads would be at the top, and then they'd see other companies and they go, oh, you know what? I want to get pricing from 2, 3 other companies. I don't just want pricing from Arizona Solar. So they'll click on an ad. Well, since you own this platform, you just earned 68% of the ad revenue from that particular keyword phrase.
Oh, wow. So you have like an ad page that has your advertisements on it. And then you have your competitors' advertisements, and that's how you make money for doing advertisements?
Absolutely. So, yes. And now what's really important is that you actually have to deliver some content. And the content is an article. Best solar panel companies in USA is right here. So
Okay.
I can generate these articles for 10,000 pages, 50,000 pages, 100,000 pages. And they are very well written articles, and they're actually researched by AI. So artificial intelligence is actually producing this kind of content. Now, let's say your company also has videos. So if you have videos, it's on that page as well. So you can have a display of 5, 6 videos, and then some more ads, and of course your ad banner and your keyword phrases. And this particular platform may have, 50,000 pages, 100,000 pages. It may have more.
Interesting. What kind of companies are your clients?
The companies I go after, for example, merchant services.
Or I should say in the solar industry.
Yeah, so in the solar industry, I'm just building those up right now.
So like solar installers,
Yes, solar installers. That's who I'm presenting this.
like residential mostly, I guess.
No, it could be commercial.
But do you see most of your clients residential versus commercial, or?
Yeah, so the big target market is residential and RV and commercial.
Okay, RV. That's interesting. So what do you do for these advertisements? Like, have you ever heard of Solar Bros?
No.
There's a lot of talk in the industry about these Solar Bros. And how about the door knockers?
Yeah, there's a ton of door knockers out there, yes.
Are they your clients at all, or?
Actually, I've talked to a few of them. They have a system where they, hire a bunch of college kids or young people that can walk neighborhoods and do the door knocking and try to get a lead and, convince people that, hey, you should get solar on your roof.
They should get free solar, and then they talk about their Lamborghinis. That's what the Solar Bros do. They wear like weird bow ties and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're also doing presentations at Home Depots and Costco's. If you go into Costco, you'll see all sorts of vendors there.
Yeah, and then amongst the people that I come interface with in the solar industry, there's a lot of people that are really upset with these Solar Bros that are out there selling solar systems to people that are 90 years old and losing their marbles and signing them into like long-term contracts. They're jacking up the prices and things like that. And so a lot of people are concerned that this is really damaging the solar industry. There's a bill at the time of this recording, it just got passed by the House yesterday. It's got to go to the Senate, and it would get rid of some of these tax credits that are really helping out the solar industry. And it's not even just getting rid of them, but just like very suddenly, unexpectedly. And so it'll take a little bit of time to adjust. Some of the reasons that people are using why we should get rid of these tax credits, there's these people that are just going around door to door, lying to people and ripping them off. What do you do when you have a client to make sure it's not some of those people?
Well, here's the pitch is that instead of having door knockers, the majority of people searching, as I showed you in the database, there's 69 million people searching for solar installers monthly online. So why would you have a door knocker? All you need is a system that allows you to generate leads online. And that's what this is. This is a lead generator. And not only is it a lead generator, it's also an income generator that gives you an income.
Because a lot of times, see, when I first talked to you, when we first met on the internet, I was thinking like when you say lead generation, to me, that almost means like, oh, that's probably a door knocker company. So you're competing with the door knocker companies, I guess.
Well, if you advertise in the newspaper, you'd be competition to the door knocker. If you're advertising online, you're competition to the door knocker.
Okay, good.
It's a different platform altogether. One is, instead of your feet doing the walking for you, the fingers are doing the walking for you online.
Okay, great. And then you can control that a lot better too, rather
Yeah.
than just like there's some guy at somebody's house and he's trying to get somebody to sign something, and that they're trying to like make that price as high as possible, and trying to pull their credit and do whatever they can to make a lot of money.
Well, the other thing too is that this is not your website. This is a information site. So this platform brings a lot of people. So there's three kinds of people that are on the internet. There's the looky-loo, there's the researcher, and then there's the buyer. Okay, so if you had a looky-loo come and you had a pay-per-click ad and they clicked on your ad, you wouldn't make a sale. They're just looking.
Sure.
Okay, and if they clicked on your ad because they're a researcher, you still wouldn't make a sale.
That's me. I'm the researcher. Yep.
That's right. You're clicking on their ad, costing them money, and they're still not making a sale. So the only time they make a sale is when the buyer comes. So this protects you from the looky-loos. And in fact, you want the looky-loos, you want the researchers, and you want the buyers. So we cover everything on this platform. So no matter who comes here, if they're buying from you or if they're clicking on an ad, you're always making money.
Great.
So this is very powerful as a tool, that you're always generating an income, whether it's a lead or whether they're clicking on an ad on your platform.
And so what do you call this type of advertising, where you get the clients, they put up their own ad, then they might have their competitors there so they could get paid?
Yeah, so the ads that are presented are not your ads that you as a company, let's say you have a pay-per-click campaign, you may have one of these 8 ads that might be yours, but the other 9 would be your competition.
And so how do they make the money then, I guess?
Google would send them a check every month.
When they click on their competitor's ad?
Well, no. So Google has a rule. You can't click on your competitor's ad if you're a publisher.
Oh, or when somebody clicks on their
Yes,
competitor's
so-
ad. Okay.
Yeah,
That's actually like kind of a good thing, because then your competitor makes the sale, but then you still made some money off of it. So you're glad when your competitor does well, in a way.
you're glad that you can cover all your costs and more. So some of these platforms are generating $15,000, $25,000 a month income. If you're getting $25,000 a month, you can turn it into ads as well. So you can go back and say, okay, I'm going to spend this $25,000 in ads on Google.
Okay.
You can pay for ads from the revenue that's generated from these people clicking on your competitor ads. It's always a win-win scenario for you. You either get the lead or you get the dollars from Google, and Google pays you automatically in your bank account.
So are these, I guess, web pages that you're designing sort of, or you're putting together, are they hosted on your site?
No, because there's so much data, there's actually 36 databases running this particular kind of site. And at the bottom here, it says sitemap, and you'll see the numbers 0 through 9 and A through Z. So in the database, when I showed you that database, if we sorted this alphabetically, you'll see that the database, this 22,554, it starts with the number 1. Okay, that all the ones would go into one database. And that could be, hundreds and hundreds of pages, the number 2, and so on and so on. Now, you would have to have a dedicated server. And obviously, I do have the background in that area, and I would set up the dedicated server for them. And that would be the only platform on that server, no other websites. So these dedicated servers, you can get them for under $100 a month. And it's not like going to GoDaddy. GoDaddy could not host one of these sites. Any of the cheap hosting companies, they have thousands of people on, or thousands of businesses on a dedicated server. So this particular platform would only be one domain on one platform.
All right.
And, the $100 a month is not a big expense, but they would be the solo company on that dedicated server, serving up anywhere from 50,000, 100,000, 500,000 pages of content.
Great. Okay. All right. So how do people find you?
The website is called theworldofcode.com.
And it's funny because I'm always a code expert talking about the different building codes and national electrical codes.
Oh,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that.
Yes.
Talk about that. So your code is computer code, perhaps?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're like a super code nerd. Do you have any pseudonyms like Satoshi? Are you Satoshi? No.
I go by JP, but some people say, "Oh, is that related to JP Morgan?" But no, it's not.
What's funny is I literally am related to JP Morgan, but it's very distant. I do have the family tree,
Yeah,
but it's very, very distant. So
that's fantastic. You should announce it more often. Maybe they'll call you. Maybe they'll give you a loan.
I'll change my name to John Pierpoint.
Yes.
Yeah, like Morgan. So my grandpa's goes by Morgan. My cousin goes by Morgan, and it goes back quite a ways.
I can send you a couple of links to the homepage and then directly to this solar page.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. And I just want to get you to promise that you will only do ethical advertising.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Because when I first heard, I saw, a lead generation person is going to come on the show. And I thought you might be one of these door knockers. And I thought we were going to just have fun.
Oh, I stay away from door knockers. I don't even answer the door then.
I kind of like trolling people. If you were a door knocker, I was going to troll you.
Well, I appreciate you didn't troll me.
Yeah, that's what I've decided to do too with people that send me tons of spam. Instead of getting upset, I'm going to just troll them. And I do all this trolling. It's great. Maybe I'll start publishing my trolling.
That would be a very interesting show. Well, one last thing before we go. I know we're running short on time here, but one of the great things about this kind of platform is that you can start building your subscriber list. And those would be real people that want to subscribe to a solar company and to get more info. And by reaching out to them on a weekly basis, because they have opted in, and you're not spamming anyone, you can sell them and pitch them more residential services, whatever it is, or commercial services or RV services for the solar industry. These kind of platforms, because they're not a website, a lot of the solar companies only have 10 pages or 50 pages. They might even have a couple of 100 pages, but it doesn't compete with a platform that has 100,000 pages or 500,000 pages.
Wow, that's a lot of pages.
Yeah, think of it as a Yelp in the solar industry.
Mm-hmm.
And you own it. You own that Yelp business in the solar industry. So that's really what I'm building here.
Great. Well, thank you so much, JP DZahr. And thanks for teaching us about the world of code. That's the name of your business. And we'll have links in the show notes. And thanks for listening to Shawn White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. Go to SolarSEAN, that's SolarSEAN.com, and click. And we're not going to charge you to click on it. So click there and get yourself educated. Get yourself NABCEP certified. Give yourself job security in the solar industry by having a NABCEP certification. Woo!